Absolute return measures an investment's return over a set time period. It simply means the gain or loss generated by an investment over a set time period. Calculating absolute return involves applying a simple formula. You can then compare it to an investment's relative return to help decide if it's something you should add to your portfolio. To find it, you need to know two things: the current value of the investment and the purchase value of the investment. The absolute return formula looks like this. If you're using this formula to measure absolute return for an investment that you already own, you'd simply plug in what it's worth now versus what you paid for it, divide it by the original purchase value, and multiply the answer by 100. You could also use this formula to calculate the absolute return for investments you don't own. You'd need to choose a time period for running the calculation, then plug in the current value and purchase value of the asset for the corresponding beginning and end dates. So, let's assume you bought 100 shares of XYZ stock for $15 each in May 2020. Fast forward to May 2021, and each of those shares are now worth $25. Using the absolute return formula, you've earned 66% on those shares of stock during that 1 year period. Relative return is another way to measure performance, and it takes absolute return into account. You might be interested in applying relative return to see how your portfolio as a whole has performed compared to a benchmark like the S&P 500 or the NASDAQ Composite. To calculate the relative return, find the absolute return for an investment. Then, calculate the difference between the asset's absolute return and a benchmark or index return.